is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more RE4 Remake gameplay for you. And for today's video, well, I think this whole sequence here sums it up, because that's exactly how me, as well as a lot of other people, feel about the recently released Sony State of Play, which prompted me to make this video. I thought about it for a few days, but yeah, I'm going to go through with it. So basically, I released a poll asking, do you think Sony should just stop doing State of Plays, since they've just all been absolutely terrible and horrendous and barely anything? And after thinking about it for a while, I think personally I'm going to say, yeah, I think they should stop doing it completely and just, I don't know, just put their efforts into something else, because they have just, I can't remember one I actually liked. And no, guys, I don't mean like in terms of, oh, there was that one reveal that got me excited. No. When you watch a half an hour of something and you got, what, around like 15 titles to be revealed, if you're just getting 2 or 3 of the 15 titles that give you anything, that's not a satisfying thing at all. That's just a waste of time. That's like me saying, hey, I'm going to be, you know, a three-point shooter in the NBA, and I'm going to go 2 for 15 or 3 for 15 from the field, from three-point range. Yeah, after all those bricks, they're taking the ball out of my hand immediately, and rightfully so, because I'm not going to waste my time watching just something that's just absolutely terrible. But I want to go through my reasons why I think they should just stop and end it, because it goes beyond just this one, because this isn't the first time they've had a bad showcase, and it damn well probably won't be the last either. But let's just go over this one to highlight the things that are so wrong with it. But before I go to the things that are wrong with it, let's go to the things that I did enjoy with it. I do want to showcase that off. I think the best thing of this State of Play was the Astro Boy. Astro Boy was definitely the best looking thing. I personally felt it looked amazing. I actually might pick that game up. It looked really cool. I liked how the worlds were kind of reminiscing all the old Sony games and IPs, and it just looked like a boatload of fun to play. So that was the best thing. They had the Monster Hunter gameplay trailer, and I'll just say this right now, I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan. Nothing against the game, it just hasn't really resonated with me. I think I played a little bit of one in the past, just gave me a bad feeling with it. But once again, it did look good, and I think it'll be a solid, good game. As if you're definitely a Monster Hunter fan, that's definitely for you. But I can at least acknowledge it's something that looked good and entertaining from what they showed. They had the Silent Hill 2 trailer, which made no sense to me, because I'm just like, you have the transmission, like, what, a half an hour after this? Why didn't you just save it for that? It just seems like a waste of a slot there for something else. But keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because I'm going to bring that up again. And the other thing that I personally was excited to see, or barely see anything at all, was the little bit of footage of the PSVR 2 Alien game. And I'm a huge fan of Alien, so seeing a VR version of that got me excited for what little we saw of it. And that's another thing I want you to remember, because I'm going to bring it up to my whole point eventually. But those are the things that personally got me excited. But we now get to the point where I talk about the things that just didn't get me excited, and why this whole Sony State of Play was just terrible. I mean, it was just absolutely garbage, and why I just think they should just cancel all of them in the future. And I'll give you my personal thing of what I think they should do personally, but they should just stop these State of Plays, because it's just waste of time. It probably costs more money than what they're potentially going to make out of it, because they're just boring people. They're waste of times. But as I said before, if I'm only getting 3 of 15, reveals that give me anything or showcase anything, then yeah, we need to really rethink how we do it. Because it's not necessarily the other games were terrible games. It's not even about that. It's not necessarily the game. It's how you're presenting and what you're showing off, because that's really been a huge problem. And we go right to the beginning of this whole thing. And let me ask you guys a personal question. If you're going to start any showcase State of Play off, why in the name of all that is decent in this world would you start off with, what, like a 10-plus minute cinematic? Not even gameplay, just a cinematic? Not to mention, then you had 3 or 4 minutes of extra gameplay added onto it. So basically, just about, around like 15 minutes, give or take, dedicated to this one game. And 2/3 of that is basically a whole long, overdrawn cinematic. Like, why in the world, why would that get me excited? I mean, hell, I don't even think you could do that with something like Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, and basically, I'm like this dude. I don't even care if I'm on fire. I'm that mad. I'm just going to charge and choke you out for thinking that was going to be a good idea to work. Like, seriously, everyone's about to fall asleep by the time it's over. I don't know what they thought in terms of the marketing. That's why I think whoever's marketing or planning this clearly is in the wrong line of work, because if I was the one marketing and I saw that and like, this is what you want to present, I was like, man, send that back to your drawing board. You're going to cause everyone to fall asleep. Nobody wants to watch a 10+ minute cinematic of anything for a half an hour. Like, you got a half hour of time, and 1/3 of that is basically shown on this whole cinematic thing, and then you get the gameplay afterwards. And once again, not going to knock the game. It could be a solid game, but that's not the point. Why are we wasting so much time with something that nobody really wants to see? It just goes to show you they're so disconnected from what fans and actual people who play games want to see. Nobody wants to see that. They want to see the actual gameplay. If you got rid of the cinematic and just showed the gameplay, it'd be a lot better. But then you actually have to find ways to fill up that time with other things, and that apparently seemingly was a problem. It makes me wonder why even have this showcase shortly before the Summer Games Festival in the first place if you didn't have too much you wanted to show off. But regardless, that was just stupid. That was just pure dumb, and it completely took so many people out of the whole thing. Which leads me to my next thing, like I talked about the whole Silent Hill 2 thing. Like, once again, we had the transmission shortly after. So why would you waste a slot for that? You could have used that for the transmission. It would have made perfect sense. The only thing you got was a shock that just showed it here, not the transmission, because that was what more people were shocked about. And then it just showed because it seemed like you had nothing else you wanted to really show off. But so you have a slot wasted 1/3 for one game's cinematic. Then you have some time wasted for something that was going to be shown a whole like transmission based on that whole game. So you have all these slots wasted. But then when it gets to something else, like I mentioned, Alien, the Alien game, how much gameplay did you show of that? What, barely 10 seconds? So you can show a whole 10-minute cinematic of another game, but you can show 10 seconds of what gameplay, if even that, plus the title sequence? Like, that's all you have to show of that? Nothing else? And you say, oh, it's going to be ready holiday 2024? Well, if that's all you got to show and it's going to be ready holiday 2024, that's got me more worried than anything else. And it might be a solid game. I hope it is. It looks fun. Unfortunately, I don't own a PSVR 2, even though with the price off of it recently with the whole, I guess, State of Play sale, whatever you want to call it, I've been possibly thinking about, I don't know if I'm going to do it. It's more for I just want to play Resident Evil in the VR, see if that's any fun. Let me know if that's actually fun, if you have played it, if it's actually worth it. But I know with the whole insane price of it, I don't know about it. But anyway, getting off topic here, I'm just like, you barely showed anything. So it makes me more worried about it than enthusiastic about it. It makes me feel like you're just sending it out there just to be like, hey, it's here, whatever. And it just makes you feel like you have no confidence in it. Like, you just, here it is, whatever, bye. Like, but yet you had so much confidence in that 10-minute cinematic. Like, really? Who is marketing this? Who is greenlighting all this stuff? Like, someone there needs to, like, change up jobs and get somebody who knows what they're doing. Hell, I'll tell you what you need to be doing. Like, damn. Because once again, I'm not saying the games that were shown here are bad games. It's what you're showing. It's how you're presenting it. You didn't get me that excited for a lot of these things. A lot of these things is just random sequences of gameplay that's not going to get hardly anybody, even fans of it, that excited. It's like, come on now. Like, you're not advertising stuff at well. Here's what I think they should have done. And I think a lot of people will agree with me. You shouldn't have had a Sony State of Play period in the first place because you hardly had anything to show. You know you got the Summer Game Festival right around next week. Here's what you should have done. You know, something like Astro Bot, be like, hey, you know what? We'll give you a little teaser for next week. We'll show a game or two, some gameplay, like a week early from the whole festival. Get you a little bit excited. So here's a, whatever length the Astro Boy gameplay trailer was. We'll show you that. Or maybe we'll show you the Monster Hunter thing. Like something like that. I could live with that. We're not going to lose a half an hour of our time just being bored out of our mind. We'll know exactly what it is, and we'll choose whether we want to watch that, 2-minute trailer or something or not, or however long it was. That's what they should have done. That would have made more sense, and then you could have saved all the, stuff for the actual Summer Games Fest, because this whole State of Play, and once again, this ain't the first time these State of Plays have been terrible. I mean, the only thing I can think of in recent memory that was worse than these State of Plays was that terrible Capcom anniversary thing last year, which was god awful. I still can't fathom why they thought that was a thing, because that was just terrible. That's the only thing I can think of that was worse than this. But I hope I made my point clear why I just don't want any State of Plays, because they're waste of time. I'm not watching these things for just 2 or 3 things. You know, I like to at least get half of them be hit, but we're not even getting 50% from the field. We're like getting close to 15%. And as I said, from a field goal percentage shooting, like if you were a basketball player, yeah, you're going to be on the bench real soon. And they need to bench the State of Play, or they need to rethink who is green lighting these events, market them, because they're absolutely disconnected from what people want to see, what fans want to see. So hopefully I laid out those points as good as possible from people, so they don't misconceive the fact that I don't want to see any more events. I like to see events, but they need to be more well structured and well done, and maybe not as long. If you don't have as many things to show, maybe, as I said, just show off the one game or two. You don't need to get everyone all amped up for something that's going to be a disaster anyway. But regardless, as I always like to say, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. Are you like a lot of people who just felt like, man, this is so terrible, might as well just swallow this whole thing whole, like right in this sequence here? Or you're like someone, maybe an optimist, saying, you know, hey, I think it can still work, but they really need to change up certain things. They really need to change up the direction, the marketing, how it's orchestrated, because the execution is absolutely abysmal. It's terrible. And maybe you're like me, just get rid of it, period, and just have like that 1 or 2 games shown off in a trailer, and that's it, because these things have all been terrible. Like, the best one I could think of was barely passing, and that's not good enough. If that's the best we can have, what's even the point of having it all? But that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back on the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.